All right, so nice to see everybody. Sit with some elevation to your hips, cross the shins. Place the hands on the thighs, lift the chest up. Draw the shoulder blade down the back. If you imagine like you feel your shirt hanging down your back, let the weight of your shoulder blades go down like the shirt. That doesn't mean your shirt pinches in. Keep your hands pushing down, pull the blade down. So this chest bone lifts up. Take another breath. Exhale, draw your back ribs in towards each other. It's not the elbows or the shoulders coming in, they're down. So you go just about 5 inches lower, pinch here, right in that lateral body, draws the ribs towards each other on the back. Your side ribs from bottom to top stretch forward, and then from your bottom to top here, pick up. And then make sure your shoulder blades are still down your back. Flex your feet. Tilt your pelvis back slightly. So if your pelvis is tilting forward, the top of it, you're going to lean into it like this. Your mid back will get really tired. Your neck will get very tired. A lot of upright yoga poses, we over tilt the pelvis. And that causes even neck pain. So the more you roll the top of your pelvis back slightly, so you can get that upright, you'll feel the lower abdominal walls and the legs, the outer hip extenders have to work a little bit. All right. Just for a moment, we'll save that. I'll save that for later. No, you know what? We'll do it. So we'll do a mudra today. I did say that we would introduce at least one. And since the question of oming came up, it's a good time for it. And I don't have a model, so I'll model the stuff that I can be close and talk and show you easily. So you're going to bring your palms together and spread your fingers wide. Not super wide. You're not going for split the webbing. You just want to create some width between the fingers, but a softness in between the muscles of the bones in the hand there. Your thumb and pinky your thumbs will stay together, your pinkies will stay together, but they're all separate. Take your middle fingers and spread them out. Take your ring fingers and spread them out, and then your index fingers and spread them out. And you have a cup. Take the center of your palms and palm it open, so it looks like a cup inside the hand there. The sides stay sealed. So this is lotus, Padmasana, lotus spreading. For a lot of people, it's hard to keep the fingers spread and then spread away from each other and the cup. This curling of the hand, really, we're going to get to the physical part of it for a moment, teaches a lot of spreading of the hands. It really helps with arthritis. It opens up circulation. Very useful like that. So you've got that. So in the metaphysical sense, it's about receptiveness, right? This is the thing that's catching, as the lotus does, the petals, the raindrops on its petals. What are you ready to receive in this time? And we've been given a lot of information. Man, you'll get it. Just close your eyes. I'll begin the spiel. So holding your cup, your elbows down, shoulder blades down your back, back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up. Just breathing into that hollowed open space. And in that space that you're breathing your breath into, each exhale doesn't collapse, but it stays lifted so that whenever you breathe in, you're not just taking in air, but receive in through the hands whatever you need now in this time. Because we are given a lot of things in life, my friends. Social media, we're given a lot of noise, a lot of information, a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, a lot of joy. But doesn't mean we need it all immediately. Doesn't mean we need it all the time. We have to have time to digest, to feel, to learn. We've come to the yoga mat to do so. To be disciplined in that. To not just ignore what's going on, but the discipline to see it, but then also the discipline to know that's enough and just to take what you've received and work it. So what do you need, my friends, at the start of this time? And remember that you can receive peace and quiet because we look for those opportunities in life. You receive more information, and it's up to you. But as Gabriel would always say, you have to be your own inner genie in the practice of yoga. Helps bring that out. But first, you got to learn to listen to yourself and receive that. So if you don't need anything, there's nothing that comes to mind, may I offer, you don't have to take it or not, that you always are receptive to your own inner voice. You're always receptive to that own inner teacher, inner leader, inner lover, warrior, magician, or witch that guides you through your life. Be receptive to that, if nothing else. So hold here for just another moment, receiving. With each deep breath in, the breath coming in, drawing in what you need. Each breath out, letting go of what you don't. For just the next moment or two. So as you've received something, now that you have it, before everything else wants to rush back in, let the tips of your ring, middle, and index fingers come together and close slowly like the petals of a flower, closing back up. And don't press the space of your hands tight together, but let there be a little bit of space and warmth in there, because you've got what you need. Hold it gently and lovingly. We'll hum shortly 3 times, and then we'll begin. Take a breath. Om. Flex your feet. Om. Back ribs in. Ribs forward, ribs up. Om. Bow your head. And salute the essence of yoga inside yourself. And if you don't know what that is, I have nothing to offer, because what you hold inside your hands is inside you. And that truly is the essence of yoga, to touch upon these things that you need, that you can create them and hold them. And ultimately, like the fruit tree, you give everything back to the world. Bring your hands into your lap. Let your head rise, your eyes open. Great, cool. So nice to see everybody. No one bailed out, it looks like. Cool. I don't know why I'm looking back there. There's no one there. I'm so used to this now after 3 months of having like my lovely assistant here. So let's come to a standing position and let's do some asana. So grab 1 block. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can use a book, even just something that holds some space in between your hands, right? Got the big Iyengar book here. Even this will be okay. Just something you can press in that spaces the hands apart. So standing in Tadasana, thighs together, feet together, all the classics, right? Tadasana, the 2 thigh muscles of the quad coming together, calf coming together. Stretch both arms straight out in front of you, holding the block so the block is wide. Thighs together, feet together, please. Tadasana. Heels touching, big toes touching if they can, calf, thigh, flex the glutes even. It's your left to right. Now squeeze the block as much as you're squeezing your legs towards each other. They may not ultimately touch, but you still squeeze them in as best you can. So squeeze the palms into the block, and now check with your legs. Are you squeezing each calf in together? They may not touch, but is each leg really flexing for it? Same for your thighs. Is the muscle from the knee to the hip, the quadricep, is that flexing? And on the back leg, are you flexing your hamstrings? Can you lift the bottom of your buttock up slightly? So you have to lean your upper body back. You have to sit your upper body into the pelvis, not on the front of it, right? That's a slouching. We slouch a lot. We have to lean back into it. The more upright and back we are, the more the core works, the legs work. Decompress your spine. Yeah, you're thinking, oh my God, how much longer do we have to hold the blocks? Whole class, I don't know. Stretch both arms straight up with your blocks, Urdhva Hastasana. So from here, you're squeezing the block, you're squeezing the legs in, lift up. There's nowhere to go forward or backwards, but lift from the rib cage to lift the block a little higher, like you're going to touch the block to the ceiling. Let your chin lift with it, so that even though you're lifting the outer lines of the body, the ribs to the armpit to the arm, you're lifting the center line too. The spine lifts, not by pushing the back spine forward, but imagine if there's the spinal column, 1 inch in front of it's the front side of it. Lift the front side of your spine up. So your head has to come up. Now, from here, with the arms holding the block, bend the elbows so you can bring the elbows towards the head, but squeeze the block. The block is just behind your head. Push the block back behind you deeply. Imagine you trying to now touch the wall behind you with the block. Then look at your elbows. They're wing and wide. Before they were perfectly in line with the shoulder. When you bend the elbow, it goes out, pull it in deeply. So you get all into that muscle underneath the shoulder blade and lateral body. Then even just take a moment and look at each arm while you're trying to pull them in, and notice how one shoulder comes in tighter than the elbow. So the shoulders are wide, elbows in, squeeze the block. Make space from your neck to your shoulder joint, but elbow to elbow narrows. A few more seconds. Straighten now keep that strength you've got. Feel that pinning in action, that muscle action of pulling the elbows in while squeezing that block. Challenges all this shoulder to armpit to neck. Keep that pin in. Feel that strength. Keep that strength and stretch your arms back up. Don't lose it. So the elbow should straighten out or come like you feel like you could eventually get there. You've got a roadmap for it now. Very nice. Good. Go ahead and bring the arms down in front of you. Not too awful. So let's go ahead. Place the block between your calf muscles, please. Narrow. If you only have one block, again, use a book. Just like that, Glenda. See, it's just like back in the yoga studio. I never sat in front of the class and did the poses with you anyway. You just got to listen. So place it between your calf muscles, really low, just so. And it doesn't, a block's fine. A book's good too. It just anything so you feel like you have something different to feel other than skin and clothes, just so you know where you're pressing. So squeeze in nice and tight. That book's perfect, Uma. It's good. You're just fine. Hold the book. Don't drop it. I know what book that is. You don't want to drop Mr. Angar's book. So from here, stretch both arms up again. Arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms facing in. Lift the front of your spine, not just your chest, but chest, spine, back side and front side, up nice and tall. And then from there, lean your head back first. Look up, by leaning the head back. Don't look up by just turning your eyes up. That's why I said lean your head back first. If I say look up, everyone's eyes go up and then the head never moves. Lean your head back first so your eyes are neutral. So your eyes don't roll up into your head and then your head falls back and you lose your balance. So now from there, squeeze the block, challenge yourself for a minute, pick your heels up off the floor so you're up on your toes. Just for a second, feel the flex of your legs, feel the flex of your hamstrings, stretch your side tall when you pick your heels up, and now keep your new tall height, stretch your heels back down. Don't just collapse and lose your arms. It's about keeping that length and that activeness of the legs, ribs, and arms and spine. So look up or turn your head up, stretch up tall, pick your heels up. Feel the thigh flex, squeeze that block. Stretch the heel down, but keep as much of that new height as you got. There you go, good. So you feel the back and front side of the body are super active in the lifting action of the pose. Poses should engage us to lift upward, not to compress into ourselves, right? The joke I always like to say is, never read anything or heard any great wise teacher say, now compress yourself and find enlightenment. It's all open. Bring your arms down. That's not bad. Reach down, grab your take your fingertips to the floor. If you cannot take your fingertips to the floor into Uttanasana, standing forward stretch, hands on a block will be okay. Block, chair, couch, cushions, whatever you got. So just touching the block, touching the floor, whatever you got. And this is for balance more than just like your flexibility. If you need a chair because you can't reach the floor, please use it. This isn't about how far down you can go, trust me, because we're going to challenge perceptions of our poses. All good teachers do, right? They challenge us in our perceptions of ourselves and our work so we can grow. So just warming up here, hands down, Uttanasana for a moment. I think it's good that our teachers challenge us in our perceptions of ourselves and our work, because we only grow inside the comfortable bubble of our own selves, right? We need someone to pop it, to help us open up, to see we're capable constantly through our lives. So cultivate your own inner teacher for a moment. And whatever I ask you to do tonight in this lesson, continue to receive what you need. But on the other side of it, I used to walk into every yoga class and I actively said to myself, I know nothing, so therefore I have everything to learn. Pick both heels up off the floor now. So you're up on your tippy toes here. Try not to fall forward. Notice when you do that, the hips roll forward towards your hands. Drop your heels down for a moment. Move your hips back. Lean your hips back, especially you, Micah. Put your hips back so your hips are more over your heel. Because just like in Tadasana, how the hamstring lifts the buttock, here it also lifts the buttock. So now pick your heels up as best you can. If you've got foot issues or weakness, you can do one and then the other. But when you pick your heels up, don't let yourself fall forward. Pick your glute up from your hamstring. Feel your calf flex, squeezing hold of that each other. Good. Now roll your hips up. Lift your hips higher with the leg nice and long. And now keep that lift. Feel that flexion and stretch of the muscle. Stretch your heels down as your hamstring and everything else tries to stay lifted. The heel coming to the floor is not your weight crashing down. The heel coming to the floor is you stretching down through the body to lengthen the lower half of the legs, just as the upper half got super fired and engaged. Take a few breaths. Do it again. Pick the heels up. Press down through the big toe really firmly. And if you are someone that has balance issues, one of the easy things to work on in this pose in your balance is feel your feet. Notice from the big toe side of the foot to the pinky toe side of the foot, the pressure is not going to be equal. Mostly, in my experience, We want to roll to the outside of the foot. I want everybody with your heels up to whatever small or long degree you have and your hips back. Push your big toe down into the floor, not the tip of it, but the whole length of the toe, especially the bone, the phalange, between the first and second joint. Push it down super hard and then stretch your heels down again, but keep all that lift. Woo! Now we're working. Hips back, Micah. Don't be afraid to rest if you need anyone. It's okay. Right. But also, if you're going to go take a break and go get on Facebook, have some discipline, stay on the mat. You got to go change your record, or you got to go hit the next on Spotify. We don't need that. Be here for this. Take a breath. Bend the knees. Stand the body upright. Nice. So you get your forward fold action. You feel the strength of your legs, the stretch of the leg. So now, take your block, if you have one still, place it between your thighs, just enough so you feel like you're not going to drop. Like one of the best things about using the prop of the block between the legs is, and it's narrow up into the groin, is that it really helps you feel which leg might not be firing correctly or firing actively in it, so you can bring yourself into it. So place the block between the thighs, feet as close as they can get comfortably without messing your knee or hip. Stretch both arms straight up again. So we've done standing pose, forward fold. We do a backward bend. I've talked about it on these videos before. The 4 directions you move the spine: standing, well, forward, backward, invert, and rotation. But standing pose sequence, or pose sequence, can go standing to forward to backward to inversion. Right now, we're warmed up the body. I know you're all getting warm. I can see, can see it from here, all through the internet. Forward folds, you got a chance to cool down, but you still challenged yourself. Now we backward. So from here, from Urdhva Hastasana, so your arms are up in the air, palms are facing in, squeeze your prop between your thighs. Pick your heels up again. We did this one earlier. So you feel the buttock flex, but the hamstring lift the buttock. Squeeze the block. Challenge your balance. Just even for a second, and I've practiced this at the wall a lot till I got comfortable with it. Stretch your heels down, but don't lose any of the flexion or lift you got. It'll be important for the next thing. Now, turn your head to look up. So your head goes back, so your face looks up. Move your arms back to follow the head some. Move the arms back so you start to go into the backward bend where you start reaching back with your thumb. Your shoulders start to follow your arms. Your ribs start to lift and go forward. So lean back any degree with the chest and pause. Hold. Take a breath or two. All right, come on up for a moment. Good. So when you practice this, I would like for you to have a wall space. If you have a wall space, if you could do what I just asked you to do, where you go fall up and back and it was not too complicated, you can be okay. But if you know you have balance issues, turn your back to a wall for this. So I'm going to give you a second to get a wall if you need. It's just there to help your balance when you need this. If you need a wall, you're going to stand about 10 inches from the wall, and the wall is going to be behind you. You're still going to need your block and everything else. But here we go. Here's the next action. So Tadasana, squeezing the block, wall behind you or not, both arms straight up. Urdhva Hastasana, turn the face up, pick the heels up. Good. Because if you fall forward, that means your legs and groin were pushing forward. Pick your heels up so the hamstrings lifted, the glutes lifted, everything's active. Now, if you're using the, stretch your heels down. If you're using the wall, lean back till your hands touch the wall for balance. If you're not using the wall, lean back into the beginning of the opening of the backward bend. All right, then hold the backward bend. Hands on walls or not, Pick your heels up off the floor again. Push down through the big toes. Feel the active action of the leg. And if you hold your heels up and flex, you can lean back into the pose a little bit more because your hamstrings are holding your pelvis. So take a breath. And now after you've bent back a little more, you've held it, you've got some strength, keep the strength, feel the flexion of the buttock, feel the block between your thighs, feel the bend in your chest, stretch your heels down. But don't lose the bend. Don't let your knees give out. Don't let your groin give out. Exhale, come on up. We're gonna go do it again, just don't. So you felt it, you learned it the first time, you really do it the second time, and third time you get, you really own it. So we might do it 3 times. Take a breath, arms up. Turn the head up, pick the heels up. Don't go back yet, just get the heels up so you feel the hamstring calf flex. Keep that lift, keep that new height, take the heels down. Keep the toes pressing strong into the ground so you're very active. Protect your spine and backward bends from your legs. Lean back, whether it's to the wall or to the open air. Even an inch back, it's still an inch more backward bend. Now when you're there and you're feeling stable, whether wall or not, pick your heels up off the floor again, high as you can, comfortably. Feel how your thighs must flex hard to do this. Keep that flex. Feel your calf flex. Squeeze them in. Now lift your heart and lean back. Now hold that lean back, hold that openness, that challenge of muscle. Stretch the heel down. So as your body goes up and back, your heels go down. Don't just pulse in and out of it. Experiment holding for a few seconds. If you want to fall out, if you want to do it for half a second and then get out immediately and there's no pain, what's telling you to get out? In the past classes, I've talked about this. Discipline is not just the discipline to beat ourselves up, but to hold ourselves accountable, right? So we're not getting off the mat for a smoothie break in the middle of class right now. All right, up you go. All right, second time you really did it, you learned something. Third time you're really gonna practice it now. You're gonna own it, so you can do this without me. Ready? Arms up. You got this. Back at the Institute, we had to do something similar to this where we went backwards, walked our hands down the wall, and then I had to walk up like 10 or 20 times. It's like doing the worst version of a backwards push-up. I'm getting the easy versions. Arms up, head up, heels up. I almost forgot. Feel the flex, feel the stretch, feel the length, work your balance. Those of us that with bad balance, you want to change your balance, you start to teach your spine to be comfortable in any direction. Stretch the heels down, but keep that strong leg. Lean back, thumbs to the wall, thumbs to space, whatever you're doing for you. And now, when you're back, when you're in the bend, don't just fall out. Don't just quit because it's hard. Pick your heels up again. Squeeze that block, Karen. Now let your chest stretch into it. Really pull the ribs up away from the belly. Think about the space. Your belly gets longer. The space between the ribs get longer. And now breathe. Stretch the heels down. Take another breath. Come on out. Good job. You don't need the wall anymore. Good. Go back to your mats. Let's take a pose to kind of maybe relieve a little bit of back to hip stuff. So standing on your yoga mat wide, you will need a block or a chair if you use a chair for triangle, Uttahita Trikonasana, or revolve triangle. So get your prop, few seconds. Stand nice and wide on your yoga mat. 4 foot. And if you're afraid of like, oh, I'm gonna fall and someone's gonna see me, ain't no one there to see you except me. So standing nice and wide, turn your right toes out. Place the block on the outside of your right heel. Arms out. Both legs nice and long. Already the pose has begun. The pose does not start when your hand hits the block. As what I just shared with you in the last 3 or 4 poses, right, all from Tadasana or Vastasana, the pose really begins the minute we open our legs up into it, or even just step on the mat. So here, before you even stretch the spine or take the hand down or any of that, how can you engage your legs just a little bit more to lift your spine, to open your hip, to engage a little bit more of you in it? Everything's already started. So for a moment, pick your right heel up an inch off the floor, push your big toe down, stretch that leg super strong, get it real flexed, and now push the heel back down, but keep that flexion. Do the same on the left leg. Pick your left heel up an inch. Some of you fall because you don't realize your own power. You're like shooting off. Press that big toe down, stretch the heel down, but keep that flex. Stretch your upper body out over your right leg now, but keep those legs super strong, not rigid. They're going to shift. They have to shift with the pose. But now you're truly in it from the minute you've opened up before you move your spine. Create safety, emotional safety in yourself to move by being stable. Reach out. Once you've gone out as far as you can, take your hand down. Left arm up. Whole pose. Now even here, left leg, pick your left heel up an inch. Push the big toe down. Stretch your heel down like you're going to touch way to the outside edge of your heel. Like that leg is active, stretching that leg down, not pushing it down, but elongating to that outer heel. Now do the same on the right leg. Pick the right heel up. Big toe presses down. And it's hard to pick that right heel up with a straight leg, so you might have to bend it. If I pick my right heel up with a straight leg, my calf cramps so fast. So try it. Give yourself a calf cramp. It's healthy. It's good for you. It's like eating your broccoli. All right, stretch that heel back down, but keep that flex. Feel how the leg's engagement. And now exhale. Let your right hip shift to your left because it is a pelvic shift. So your left hip kind of boops up to the air. And then lean your spine back into it. Create something from the backward bend here. We lean forward and slouch down. Can you lift the core? Can you lean the upper body back? Good. Can you use your legs to lift your spine? That is the biggest thing, I think, in a lot of our standing poses, or at least a way to break it down. It's not about how deep down you get your spine. Can you stretch your spine away from the legs? All right. Bring your left hand down. I didn't say come out of the pose. I just said bring your left hand down. Half of you are ready to get out of this before anything else happens. If you're using a block, put your block on the inside of your right foot. Take your left hand to that block. If you're using a chair, take your left hand onto the seat of the chair. Roll your left hip towards your right foot so you're leveling out the pelvis. Try and keep both legs active. So even here in this transitional point, re-engage your legs. Left heel up, stretch the heel down after you feel that thigh flex, after that big toe is very grounded in the earth. Keep that flex because it's easy to let the legs just block the knee. Do the right side again. Right heel up. Right heel down. Now right hand to right hip. Twist. Roll your right ribs up to the ceiling. It's revolve triangles. So turn your block up taller, Glinda. That will probably help. There you go, friend. And now take a breath. Lift and twist your navel, your ribs, and your back around. So your right shoulder goes up towards the ceiling. Rotate the ribs straight, strong legs. Take a few breaths. Stretch your right arm straight up. Nice twist, Glenda. You got it. Good, Uma. So even if your back heel comes up a little bit, that's okay. You still stretch that back heel down. You elongate the heel that way. You're a little wide, Micah. That's why your heel's up, buddy. Shorten your stance a bit, brother. No, you're a tall dude, so. All right. Right hand down, untwist, stand up. Let's do the other side. So standing wide, turn your left toes out, block on the outside of your left foot. Turn left toes out, reach out arms wide. Pick your right heel up an inch. Push your right big toe down, stretch the heel down. Feel that calf flex. I have found this to be very useful for stretching my knees out because the flexion of the calf helps the knee joint be stable. Stretch the outer right heel down. Pick your left heel up. Feel that flex. Feel that strength of that leg. Set the heel down, but don't lose the strength. Stretch out over the left leg as far as you could reach. Uttahita Trikonasana. Hand on the block. Right arm straight up. Nice long legs. So even here, pick up your right heel an inch. Stretch that outer right heel down. Stretch that leg out. So you feel that right leg really pull. Do the same on your left. Try to straighten the left leg with the heel off the floor. Challenge that leg muscle. Challenge that hip joint. Set the heel down. Bring your right arm down. Move your block to the inside of your foot. Take your right hand onto the block or to your chair. If you're using a prop, you might be practicing at home without. We do what we can. Right hand on the right hip. Transition for a moment. Flex your thighs. Legs nice and long. Pick your right heel up. Switch hands, Glenda. Right hand on the block, dear. Left hand on your hip. You got it. Stretch that outer right heel down. Pick your left heel up an inch. Try to do it with your legs straight. Set the heel down. Once the heel's down, twist your ribs. Keep the right hand on the block, left hand on your left hip for a moment, and just do the best you can to rotate the core body around into the pose. Your legs stay very strong, though. The stronger your legs stay in this, not the straightest, but the stronger they stay flexed. And if you can stay focused on your legs, you will get a lot more relief from the back. You'll be able to rotate better. Very good, Lena. Good twist on you for that one. And even those of you who don't have your cameras on, Tristan, Ashwini, Christy, Margaret, see you. Good job. You're doing great. I don't need to see it to know it. You're doing good. You're here, or at least listening while you're sitting on your couch having a Dorito. I don't know. You made it. Take the left arm straight up so you're finishing the rotation. So it works deep into the shoulder. A few deep breaths. Bring your left hand down, untwist the body, bring your body straight up. Nice. Have a seat on the floor, please. So on the floor, stretch both legs straight in front of you in Dandasana. Bend both knees, pulling on the inner knee to pull your foot close, and then bring the soles of the feet together and knees wide. So Baddha Konasana. Classic. So from Baddha, take your hands behind you and just lift for a moment, because even if you still follow the same idea I said at the start, your sequence can always be standing to forward to backwards to invert. Seated poses have their own kind of form to that. This is a seated, almost standing action. You got to lift actively into the spine. So use the hands to help lift your ribs up. Press your feet firm together. Flex your thighs to help do so. So those muscles inside that hip joint really wake up. Take the hands in front of you, walk your hands out as far as you can into a forward fold, but still pushing the legs together with that same action. Support the movement of your spine from your thigh muscles flexing. So the feet are pushing together, big toe, pinky toe, outer heel, right? You can even do it here. Push your toes together hard, pull your heels away from each other like a couple inches. So if this is your feet, right, and these are your toes, they're tight, pull your heels apart like this, push your toes together harder, and then stretch the heels together while keeping that very deep flex. Ooh, that's a foot cramp. Happy for you if you get one. Good. Stretch forward as far as you can reach out. And it's not curling down. Really elongate the arms away from your body. So you're going for length. So from, not curl in, really stretch your arms more. Good, nice deep breath. Let your back work. And then check in with your thighs, with your feet. Try to keep them engaged. Good. Exhale, up you come. So, yeah. Go ahead and lay on your back. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Just lay on your back. Feet about hip width apart. So as I said, standing to forward, forward to backward, backward to inversion. Not doing headstands. I mean, there's lots of different versions. If your head's lower than your heart, you're in an inversion. So we can kind of do the backward bend and this. Oh, don't stretch your legs out. It's not Savasana o'clock. Knees bent, feet flat to the floor. I love how eager you all are. Knees bent, feet flat. Pull your heels close to your buttocks. Place both palms onto the floor flat, close to your feet if you can. So your arms got to stretch down towards your toes, towards your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Puff the chest up. And now pick your hips up 10 inches up off the floor. Push through the feet. Only 10. Don't go to your full height. Just go like half of what you know you're capable. And now pick your heels up off the floor an inch. Now go up a little higher with your hips. Keep pushing through the foot to lift the heel to make your thighs flex. Breathe. Just even holding here. So the leg, the foot, the arch, the ankle, the calf, the knee, the hamstring, and the hip all work in conjunction to lift the spine. Push through the foot and push your chest towards your chin so your chest has to lift up. Take a couple deep breaths. Exhale, come on down. Just knees bent, lay there for a moment. We'll rest and then we'll re-engage. Press your hands down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and I'm having you push the hands down so you activate those back shoulder muscles that you worked earlier. All the parts and pieces you've done come together. Heels close to the body. Pick up your hips 10 inches or less. Whatever half you can max, do your maxes. Pick your butt up high up in the air, and then pick your heels up and finish it. Go even higher with your heels up. So all of your leg, you're practicing the legs lifting you. Push through the feet like you're going to straighten the legs so you really get the hips going towards the chest, chest going towards your chin. And then hold and breathe. Build some endurance. All right, exhale down. Relax your arms, stretch your legs out. Enjoy a short Savasana. Not short, this will be a few minutes. Let your eyes close. Blankets for your head, neck, small pillows, something under your knees if you have low back tension, all good. Take a few deep breaths in. Long breaths out. And for the first few breaths, let each inhale and exhale have a noise that's just kind of like your marker that you're moving into this quiet space. That you're giving yourself your time. Just as you received at that opening moment, holding the lotus in your hands, being the lotus, receive from the practice, receive here. Receive what that inner part of you has to share. That part of you that you get closest to when you've done good work, when you've put yourself out there. And rest, my friends. Enjoy the fruits of your yogic practice. Slowly increase the depths of your breathing. Again, to awaken the body, opening, closing the hands, pointing, flexing the feet. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll your body to the right side, press your palms into the floor, and slowly up you come. Thank you all so much for being here. It's so nice to see you all. Yeah. Whatever. All right. Namaste. Thank you all so much.